Does every mother-daughter conversation feel like a battlefield? Do you feel like you're a bad mother? Do you feel like you're a bad daughter? Do you worry that this mother-daughter tension will never end? Then this episode is for you. Hello and welcome to Masala Podcast. I'm Sangeeta Pillai and this is the Bad Daughter miniseries. What is a bad daughter? A bad daughter is someone who challenges patriarchy, talks about taboo topics, doesn't take no for an answer. And guess what? This season, I'm going to get more personal, even more personal than I've ever done before. Are you ready, my bad daughters?
Besharam, Badtameez, Gandhi, hi, bad beti.
In this episode, I talk about a really complicated relationship, mothers and daughters. I've struggled with it too, and I know you have. If you want to think about how to ease the stress in that mother-daughter relationship, I think you'll enjoy listening to this episode. So how did it start for me? My mother and I had a complicated relationship. I was the first girl in my family to go to university, to get a job, to make my own money. And I have this beautiful memory of buying my mother this green sari from that first paycheck. I bought her this beautiful green ikat sari. Ikat is like a particular handloom print, and my mother loved it. She was so proud of this sari. Every time the neighbors would come over for a cup of tea, she would show them the sari and say, "Oh my God, look, my daughter got her first paycheck and she bought the sari with that." She wore this sari so often that it started to fray and get really, really soft, like old saris get really soft, but she continued to wear it. And to me, that's one of the most beautiful memories I have of my mother. It's one of those things I hold very close and I kind of unfurl it every now and then, and I remember her in her green ikat sari. But what made our relationship really, really complicated was the fact that despite my mother being so proud of me and showing all the neighbors this sari that I had bought her, she still wanted me to have the life that she had. Have an arranged marriage, have children, follow the rules that she had followed despite the horror of her life. And I never understood this. So we'd have these endless arguments where she'd say, yeah, I know you have this job and you're doing well, but none of it matters because you're not married. You haven't got the children. So we always battled, and that would always hurt me and still does. And that's what made our relationship so complicated. I wanted this one thing, she wanted me to have this other thing. And I'm sure you understand. Maybe you felt it too. We know our mothers before we even know ourselves. As we are literally shaped and formed in our mother's womb, she is our entire world. We hear the sound of our mother's voice before we hear anything else. We feel her heartbeat, a constant, comforting soundtrack. When she moves, we move, undulating inside her. We know her breath. We know her feelings. We exist as one in this infinite darkness of the womb, sharing a silent rhythm. This is how the mother-daughter relationship begins, and it is so incredibly beautiful. How can you relate to this? So in South Asian culture, every decision that a daughter makes reflects on her mother. The job she chooses, the person she marries, where she lives, pretty much everything. And on top of that, there's the whole respect for your elders at all costs. You know, we're supposed to just say yes and agree to everything our elders say. But I know for a fact that it's not just South Asian culture. Every mother-daughter relationship that I know of is complicated. There's always stress and tension. And in some ways, it's like you know each other the most and you can hurt each other the most. Have you ever wondered why mother-daughter relationships are so complicated? Well, things like trauma, they're passed on from one generation to the other. When we experience something really difficult, it is literally stuck in our bodies. And then our bodies, if they have children, will pass it on to our children. And this happens from generation to generation to generation. So it's really, really important that we think about how we heal this really, really crucial relationship, because if we don't, we're just passing it on. But now that I'm in my 50s, I've made my peace with my mother. I've done this by seeing her as a human being, flawed, human. She did the best she could in the circumstances of her own life. And that has helped me let go of some of the pain and the anger and the grief that I carried around her. I've made my peace with her. And maybe you can too. I've got some little tips for you. Here are some things you can do. Practice empathy. Seeing your mother or your daughter as an individual, flawed, human, like the rest of us, might help you shift some negative feelings or emotions. That's one. Number two, I'd say, is create boundaries. Try not to get annoyed with every single thing. For example, you might say, I will not discuss my choice of partner with you, if that's a bone of contention. So create some boundaries. Third thing is, take the time to step back before you immediately react and try and see where it's coming from. Is your mother or your daughter getting upset because of something else? For example, a mother's criticism about a daughter's job might be her own fear of financial insecurity. So take a pause. Mothers and daughters know how to hurt each other, really hurt each other. When you know the deepest parts of another, you also know which part is the most vulnerable. We hurt each other with words, small, little words that start the biggest storms. We hurt each other by withdrawing. Where there was once the warm comfort of a strong bond, now there is the cold breeze of disconnection. We hurt each other by actions. The wound bleeds. The grief sets in. We build brick upon brick of resentment, cemented by the ache of a love that is lost. Sometimes mothers and daughters start full-blown wars, stretching across decades, continents, time zones. And the saddest thing is, both sides in that mother-daughter war stand to lose. I'd love to share an extract from my book, Bad Daughter, available to buy worldwide. This is about my mother and me. It's titled The Love Language of Hair Oil. The warm coconut oil felt like a hug as it trickled down from the top of my head to the nape of my skull. Amma poured the nourishing oil slowly, lovingly, almost drop by drop. Her fingers massaged it deep into my scalp. My shoulders droop, letting go of the anxious knot that has been holding them tight all day long. My relationship with my mother wasn't a simple one. Relationships between mothers and daughters rarely are, but ours was particularly complicated. It was built on a foundation of deep love and deep caring, but between these were layers of sticky guilt. I knew she was forced to stay with my father because of me, because of us. She had said so many times that if it wasn't for us, she would have left a long time ago. So I knew, even when I was very little, that I was responsible for her crying out in pain every time my father hit her. It was me who caused the blood to spout from the top of her skull when my father bashed her head against the wall. It was me who caused her to wail helplessly at the nightmare of her life. So yes, my relationship with my mother was deeply complicated. But while things were messy between my mother and me, that weekly hair oiling ritual was full of love. It wasn't just our ritual though. Mothers oiled their daughters' hair with care all the time. Older sisters would pour warm coconut oil or sesame oil over their younger sister's hair. Friends would show their love by sitting next to or above their friend, holding a still warm bowl of oil, massaging it slowly into their friend's hair with immense care. When the language in your home is made up of tears and fears, and love doesn't feature prominently, that little love, through that act of hair oil, was everything to me. On Saturday mornings, my mother would warm up coconut oil on the kerosene stove. She'd heat it until it smoked, until the fragrance of the oil filled our little home. Then she'd get me to sit cross-legged on the tiled floor in front of her, while she sat behind me on a little stool. Amma's fingers massaged the warm oil, ensuring it soaked the ends of my long hair. Her hands felt the tension, and she moved away from my hair to gently massage my shoulders with her knuckles. My shoulders drooped. My chin dropped to my chest. Amma went back to my hair, moving her fingers in small circles, from my forehead to the nape of my neck. She would make sure all the dark hair was infused with the oil. It was incredibly relaxing, and I felt myself growing sleepy. My hair was her pride and joy. Long, shiny, dark hair was a traditional Indian beauty aesthetic. Indian poets and writers across centuries have devoted pages to the beauty of dark, luscious locks flowing past the waists of young women. My mother wanted that for me. She wanted her daughter to be beautiful, and that's why she oiled and nourished my hair. Amma paused for a moment. I could feel her getting up from her stool and heading to the kerosene stove to warm up more coconut oil. I thought about all the things Amma and I fought about. I didn't know then that we would be at war with each other for over 15 years. We fought about the length of my hair. I wanted it shorter. She wanted me to keep it as long as I could. We fought about the length of my skirts when I went to college. Too short, she always said. We battled over the courses I chose in college. She wanted me to get a respectable science degree, while I wanted to study literature and poetry. We settled for the dullest accountancy degree, which was torture for my numbers-avoidant brain. I treasured our hair oiling ritual. I couldn't have verbalized why I enjoyed it so much back then, but now I know that it was because I craved my mother's love and touch, and the ritual gave me just that. If you enjoyed that extract, you'll love my book, Bad Daughter. It's about my story going from the slums of Mumbai to the billboards of New York via a healing stopover in Kerala. It's about the pressure that all women face to be good girls. My readers love it. Here are some of the things they tell me. This is the best book I've ever read, says Hattie. This book made me cry, but also made my heart sore, says Archana. Your book made me think of my own inner voice and the stories I tell myself, says Caroline. So go to baddaughter.co.uk or type Bad Daughter on Amazon. What would happen if the mother and the daughter healed the wound, found love again. Imagine the peace, the simple peace of sitting together, where the silence is not thick with things unsaid. It is full of shared memories, of ease, of belonging. Imagine the fresh energy. No more explaining, no more justifying. Just sitting across the kitchen table, or sitting on a park bench, or walking side by side, just being together. Imagine the relief of not guarding your words, not defending your position. Just the profound relief of finally laying down the armor. Just sharing laughter, sharing tears, sharing a smile. Just resting in the comfort of this most beautiful bond, where both mother and daughter can fully, safely be themselves. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Masala Podcast. Come tell me about it. I'm on Instagram as Soul Sutras. I'm on TikTok as Masala Podcast. And if you loved it, share it. Share it with your mum, share it with your sisters, share it with your friends. I've also got a Bad Daughter course on my website on baddaughter.co.uk. I promise you it's fun. Imagine a week in lush tropical Kerala, eating gorgeous food, surrounded by the sisterhood. Welcome to the Anti-Retreat, where it's all real. Real spirituality, real sisterhood, real Kerala food, real visits to sacred temples. Your money supports local Kerala women, so you'll be making a real difference. This is all part of my retreat in February. Go check out baddaughter.co.uk/Kerala retreats.